checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy my team.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
We're here. Welcome in. We're back. Episode 51, the episode after the Super Bowl, live on YouTube via GSC3. Rewind. I'm the captain, and tonight's episode is going to be a little bit more different than what I anticipated or planned last week heading into Super Bowl 60. And I just want to say tonight's episode can either go two ways, right? You've all been warned. It either can go great and we end this thing correctly, or it can go wrong and we'll end this thing shortly, because no Patriot slander will be tolerated tonight, or no disrespect. But anyway, we appreciate all the love and support. Thank you. We put out a bunch of Super Bowl clips leading into Super Bowl 60, so appreciate all your love and support on all of our platforms, as well as showing us some love and liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. We've grown in subscribers, and YouTube, if you don't know, the game is extremely a long game if you're trying to find and crack that algorithm. But all grace to the good Lord. Push, pray until something happens, and I tried that, and I went to church Sunday morning, just didn't work out. The good Lord said, just not your year. And I'm okay with that, because I know one thing's for sure and two things for certain. The Patriots will be back. I don't know when, maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, but I know the Patriots will be back. But subscribe to our YouTube channel at 31_GSC3, as well as follow us on all of our social media platforms at 31_GSC3. We got a packed house tonight. Bryant will be joining us momentarily from the road as he travels to Chicago. And yes, as you can see, this graphic, pain, lots and lots and lots of pain. But as God say, man, just smiling through it all. It's been a rough 48 hours. I was not happy seeing the result of my team losing, but that's sports, right? And then having to go to work Monday and deal with all your coworkers and all the shit talking and Patriots this and Patriots that. You know, that's Tom Brady walking up the field after losing to the Giants in 2011. So this is my fourth Super Bowl loss as a fan. I've been blessed to been grandmothered in. I know some people say grandfathered in. I've been grandmothered in as a Patriots fan. My grandma's a Patriot fan. She passed it down to me. I'm going to pass it on to my son or daughter whenever that time comes. No time soon. And, it's been very a highway. But just knowing that your team has been to a Super Bowl in the last 5 decades, not many people can say that, Jets fans, I can go on with the list. But I'm grateful. I'm happy to see my team get there. A lot of folks didn't expect us to get there. I know I didn't. I made a bet earlier in the year with someone that I saw on Friday night. He paid me his money, earned, that the Patriots weren't going to win no more than 6 games. I've jumped on that bet immediately, $100. So appreciate that. I will be donating that to a charity, probably a breast cancer fund. We'll figure it out. But it's going to be a great episode tonight. I appreciate all the love and support. And it should be an interesting one because, like I said, man, the guests that we have coming on tonight, they are treading on thin water as is. I've already made it clear, no Patriot disrespect, but I want to say congratulations to one of the most diehard Seattle Seahawks fans I know, my girl Fifi, who is currently going through a transition of a loss in her family. So I know her seeing the 12th man win Super Bowl 60 must uplift her spirits in some form or capacity. She is at this, at the parade today in Seattle because she's always in Seattle for work. So as a man of my word, I'd said if the Seahawks were to win, which I thought they didn't, but they did, I would wear green tonight on tonight's episode. So this will probably be the last time you see me in this unless I'm covered in money. But other than that, this is the green that you're going to get for tonight's episode. And I'm going to make sure I put this in the closet, as well as my New England Patriots hat away for the next 7 months, because that's the next time we'll see football back on national airwaves. So let's get one of our guests in here. She is I'm so thankful for her. She's kicking ass and taking names, going through a transitional phase as we all go through when our plan A, I should say, doesn't work to fruition. And we have to put plan B into perspective, especially once we're finishing undergrad or even MBAs and stuff like that. But I know what she's going through, been there, done that, still going through, still trying to figure it out. But I commend her willingness to figure it out, her willingness to win. She's former player, but transitioned to the broadcasting field because she's really good at what she does from the media perspective. I've had the opportunity to work with her probably early on in 2025. Shout out to our girl Ice. She brought a group of people up to New York, and we were able to pretty much do some work for an AAU tournament, both men's and women's, or I'm sorry, boys and girls, 16U, 17U, 15U, etc. And she was great. I mean, her talent spoke for itself. I mean, I just know that as the more reps she gets and the more comfortable she is and the more connections she makes, that her rise in the sports media world will continue to grow and fruition. And she's a UGA, proud UGA, where Maria Taylor, shout out to Maria, doing a fantastic job for Super Bowl coverage on NBC, did the damn thing. First Black woman to cover Super Bowl in that capacity since 1994. So we want to give a special shout out to Maria Taylor. But let's get my girl Naya here. She's a former Division I basketball player turned sports media professional who brings a unique perspective of both a competitor and a storyteller to every space she enters at the University of Kentucky. Go Cats. She helped lead her team to a 2022 SEC tournament championship and then transferred to the University of Georgia. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
After her ACL junior year, she came back from 3 surgeries before deciding to transition from the court to the camera. Naya has since launched her career in sports media as a reporter, analyst, and I'm going to put on there sports broadcaster, combining firsthand playing experience with sharp journalism instincts to covering the game, athletes she deeply understands. A proud military child, Naya has lived and traveled to many places, including Japan. I don't know how to say that, Naya. You're going to have to help me.
Okinawa, Japan.
Okinawa, Japan.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. Appreciate you, Naya. Where she spent 3 years of her childhood. But as you can see, this is my girl, my dog, my partner in crime, my media personnel. I love her to death. She's also just launched her own sports podcast with her best friend that she'll, I'm sure, tell us a little bit about as tonight's episode goes on. They'll be getting ready. They already came out with episode 1, so you got to be on the lookout for episode 2 coming soon within the next week or so. But Naya, appreciate you taking the time to join your boy on episode 51. The first episode after the Super Bowl 60 loss. But it's good to see you. Good to see your smile. Good to see your presence, your energy. Welcome in. How you doing?
Yes, I'm good. I'm so thankful to be here. I can't remember, how many games. Did we do a game together when we were in New York?
Unfortunately, we didn't. I don't know who was in charge of scheduling. I remember leading up to it, we were texting each other, just kind of getting an idea for one another.
Right.
And I was saying, damn, I hope we get to work together because we had the pre-call, I think 2 weeks prior to the event. Before everyone was traveling, and I was hoping that us two would be able to work a game together. But who knows? God's grace, we got Barry here. He's a jack of all trades, so you never know. God's grace, we may be able to work together on a game somehow, some way, someday. But I'm just so happy you're here. I know you didn't have a dog in a fight, but you do feel for me, right? You feel my pain.
I didn't, yeah.
You feel my pain.
I do feel for you. I'm an Eagles fan, though, so at the end of the day, it's wrong bird won, but it's okay.
So let's I got to give a special shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. They were victorious. They were a better team. When you have 2 offensive linemen on the line, our left tackle, Will Campbell, who was pretty much getting slaughtered all playoffs, it's probably a tough blow for him. But, the Eagles, if you didn't know, Nia is going to be going to another year with a new offensive coordinator for Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts just seems to win with whatever he has, rather as offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, whatever. So, I had to – I wouldn't say this is Philly green, but, I just got to pay my dues, man, pay my debt. I hate losing. I really hate losing. And I'm really, curious for you, how do you take losing?
I don't like to lose. I feel like if you're on a team and you don't hate to lose, you're not on the right team. You can't be on my team. I hate to lose. And if you don't want to figure out a way to fix it, it's just not going to end up well. So I hope the Patriots get it together. I was not expecting it to go like that on Sunday. I really wasn't.
I wasn't either. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was expecting. I knew it'd be close. I was on point with that. I knew it'd be close, but I just thought offensively, man,
Drake
just
May
didn't have
struggling. My
2
God.
touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean,
Yeah.
we just didn't have that star-studded power. That Seattle defense, you need how the Rams, how they were able to be successful, putting up 40-plus points against that defense, having Nakua, having Devontae Adams, having a run game. You need some type of star power on offense. And I thought Stephon Diggs, maybe he left his game in Denver with Cardi B.
He had a lot going on.
He had a lot going on.
That night, so.
Douglas, but that right there, that's messy. That's messy. I don't blame Cardi B, but she deserves as much blame too, because you knew what you were getting yourself into prior to even wanting to be with this man. And then at the same time, they weren't even together a year.
Yeah.
And he had a baby together. That's just like, and he already has like 3 other kids, 3 other different baby mamas.
I think he has like 6. He has like 6 other kids. It's a lot. It's a lot. Lost count.
Oh,
but
no. And she left before the Super Bowl was over. Clearly, I mean, he only had 3 receptions, 37 yards. Clearly, that was somewhere else. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But I'm upset. But let's get our co-host in here. He's a diehard Seattle Seahawks bandwagon for the last 12 weeks, I should say. Chicago finest, Temple alum. He's a 4-time state champion in his co-head coaching career, over 400 career wins in his basketball career, coached over 25 plus years. He's coached both football and basketball, and he's also inducted into the Nork Hall of Fame. And now the time is here, Naya, where I have to hear this for the next 7 months of why Seattle this, why Seattle that. But Bryant, what's good, man? I know you're on the road traveling to Chicago, but it's good for you to join us via audio. What's good, brother? Good to see you. Actually, it's not good to see you. Your time tonight's episode is very short, very limited, so choose your words wisely.
Like that.
No, he's full of sugar honey iced tea. That's the bullshit. And you know what I'm going to say. You know, I told your ass for at least 8 to 12 weeks that Seattle was the team, and you know this. Defensively, they was going to kick y'all ass. I told you this. Where I smile all day long for 4 quarters as signatures, and now I'm gonna talk my shit because the Bears are coming back. We're coming back next year. We're gonna do our thing, and we're gonna smack your ass if y'all on the schedule too, especially with them 2, with the offensive tackle and offensive guard that can't block my mother.
Well, that is true. And speaking of signatures, we were blessed to be in the presence of greatness. We had a Super Bowl party there. Had some Pats fans there. That's Ish, who we had on a former I guess on a rewind a few weeks ago. He's a proud Patriots fan, and Brian's ugly as hell, as you can see. Then we had my mom there. You know what's funny? My mom doesn't even like a team in football, but I told her. She goes, "Hey, are you going out for the game?" I said, "Yeah, I'm having inviting some friends and family over to signatures,
right.
Table, whatever." She goes, "Oh, I want to go." I said, "You only can go under one condition." She goes, "What's that?" I said, I'm bringing the Patriots hoodie. Put on the Patriots hoodie, and you can go. And she said, "No problem." Wow. She had the scarf on and kind of matched the Patriots hoodie. So it was good, man. It was good to have her there. I thought she was my good luck charm, but damn, I just hate losing. And the place was packed. It was a mixed crowd. It was predominantly 80% Seahawks. Probably the 20% that we had there was Patriots. So, it was just a long night at the office. But Brian had a good time seeing the Patriots crumble in good fashion for 4 quarters. And, it was a good time. So shout out to Mom. Her birthday was last week. So we wanted to end her birthday weekend on I thought would have been a good note, but clearly it wasn't. But it's all good. Let's get our other 2 guests in here because I want to hear their perspective. What?
I just have to say this here. Every time a team loses a game in a Super Bowl, there's always some female drama attached to it.
Oh, we just talked about
Not too much on the girls.
Tell us why, Brian. Tell us why. Tell us why.
I'm not going to go to all into that. But you look at it. Go back. You always hear something happen in the news a day or 2 after with some bullshit.
Well, clearly Stephon Diggs' game was somewhere. It is, as Naya said, his mind, body, and soul was somewhere else.
Not in the game.
It's even more disgusting when I think about it because he had Cardi in the suite.
Yeah.
Then he had one of his ex-boos, baby mamas or whatever,
stands.
in the front row stands coming out of the tunnel with the baby that she just had. Oh, my God. And then Cardi spent 1.3 or 1.4 million of her own money for an after party that Stephon Diggs and herself didn't even go to. Oh, give me the 1.4 million.
I wish I had 1.3 million.
Yeah. I know to do with the money.
They just blew it on like they can buy a pack of cigarettes and say, "Hey, fuck it, I'm not going to smoke it."
Yeah, I mean, it must be nice to have that kind of money, boy. I tell you. But let's get our two guests in here because I want to get the perspective. But I'll get one of them first because Naya is somewhat familiar with him, as I found out tonight. By the name of Barry Neuberger, has been a part of collegiate athletics, for over 3 decades, starting as a sports information director at Pace University, his alma mater. You know, it's funny. I was at SID in high school, but that's story for another day. He then moved on to marketing and fundraising positions at NYU, Georgia State, DePaul, Oakland, Columbia, and Yeshiva universities. He's also was the chairman of the gold medal winning United States men's open basketball team at the Pan America Maccabi Games in São Paulo, Brazil. He is currently consulting with the HBCU All-Star game coming up in Indianapolis in April. Sponsorships, to be exact, with the Collegiate Sports Management Group that was recently approved by the NCAA for the Jersey Patch Initiative. And Barry has done some fantastic work in his collegiate athletic career, not also at Pace, but also in every stop he has been to. But Barry, I know you were rooting for New England, but we just weren't victorious. But good for you to join us on episode 51 of Rewind. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
Monty, I'm excited to be here with your illustrious guests. And yes, I was rooting for the Patriots, and it was not painful because it was over fairly quickly. So I wanted it to be an entertaining evening, and I was rooting. I really wanted the game to be close and exciting and back and forth. And anyway, let's move on because we don't need to rehash that. We've done that enough already. I think we can move on to other things. But thank you for your that was a very generous introduction. And I've been very fortunate to have a lot of success on the collegiate athletics level, raising a lot of money for schools and being a part of some great athletics programs. Some of them were in startup situations, and at Oakland, we were school was moving from Division II to Division I. Needed somebody to bring in some revenue. They were opening up a new arena. That was a lot of fun to do that. And then even at Columbia, which has a long history in athletics and in academia, they decided to take their toes into the water on corporate sponsorships, and they asked me to do it, and I had a very successful 12-year run, and now it's on to other things. Two things you mentioned: the HBCU All-Star game coming up in Indianapolis. I'm so proud to be a part of that. It's really a celebration of the best in Black college basketball, where we bring the 24 best seniors with no more eligibility to play on a national stage at the Final Four. We have an NBA day where we have about 24 pro scouts come in and see these guys. They get a tremendous opportunity, not just on the basketball side, but also we take them into the community. We dedicate a playground for the kids in Indianapolis this year. It's so much more than just a basketball game, but to have the 24 best seniors from HBCU schools. This is the 5th year of the game, and it's the birth child of Travis Williams, who was one of our players at Georgia State when I was raising money there. We've stayed in close contact, and he asked me to help him with this. And I've been really fortunate to be a part of it the last few years. It's such a worthwhile thing, and I'm excited about the next game that we'll have in Indianapolis. And I know you mentioned the Collegiate Sports Management Group. This is a whole new thing that just happened a few weeks ago in college athletics. The legality, if you will, of jersey patch, which many of the pro teams are already doing it, and now it's going to be legal for collegiate teams to have a logo, a sponsor on their jerseys for the first time. So a lot of the schools are not quite sure how to navigate this thing because it's a brand new thing, and they certainly want the revenue. And what we do at Collegiate Sports Management Group is to really provide a valuation of what we think they should be selling it for. And if they want us to sell it, we'd be glad to take that on. But really, these schools are wondering, like, how much is our jersey patch worth? We play in front of 16,000 people every night, or we play in front of 1,600 people every night. So what's the value of it? And we have a way for schools to figure out what that's worth to them. And everybody needs the revenue.
Oof. I never thought I'd see the day we get to collegiate athletics wearing jersey patches. I know the NBA's been doing it. It's a dawn of a new day. But Barry, I'm just put it out there, just public service announcement. If the HBCU All-Star game needs 2 broadcasters, you have Naya here and myself. We're available. Wheels up to Indy. Just put it out there. Meet sideline coverage. Naya's available. Reporting on the game. Look, I'm just speaking things into existence, as we say, because we know, Barry, you are a jack of all trades, brother. Jack of all trades.
So noted. So noted.
Our last guest we have is a person that I've been able to know over the last 5 to 7, 8 years. I've lost count. He's an Ohio State fan, former player under the great Jim Tressel at Ohio State. And he knows I'm a Michigan fan and how much I can't stand Ohio State Buckeyes. But let's get into it. He's a former Division I football player, Hoboken High School Hall of Fame, and strength and conditioning coach with over a decade of experience developing athletes. He's the founder of Ball Street University, a nonprofit focused on financial literacy, leadership, and life skills for student athletes. And he currently works as a financial advisor, helping athletes, entrepreneurs, and families building long-term wealth. Ira recently ran for Jersey City Council, earning nearly over 10,000 votes, and now operates at the intersection of sports, business, and civic leadership. And I cannot believe, as a Michigan fan, I am getting ready to introduce a Ohio State player and a Ohio State diehard fan. But this is the power of the Rewind. Ira, I love you. Good to see you. Welcome into the Rewind 51. I know you're an Ohio State fan. I'm going to hear about your mouth about how you guys beat us this year. But then I will come back and say, well, how did you do in the college football playoff losing the second round? But it's good to see you, man. Welcome in. How are you?
Well, first of all, let me say any day that I know Tom Brady isn't having a good day is a great day for me. So we'll take that.
Oh, this guy.
I'm watching the game here, and I'm like, Bad Bunny's providing all the offense. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? But hey. At the end of the day, cheers to the guys. I mean, Vrabel, he's a Buckeye, so I can't be that mad at it. He did a great job this year with getting guys. What you guys have? 4 wins the year before or something like that?
4-13 in the last 3 years.
Yeah, something that was awesome, right? So anyway, you guys brought in a Buckeye who had to come right the ship for you guys, so that was great. But yeah, other than that, I'm an Eagle fan too. I see you, Naya.
Yes, so that's what I like to hear. Perfect. We're gonna get along
for the birds, so it's all good, baby. As long as a bird won.
Absolutely, and congratulations to head coach Mike McDonald, who's a Michigan Wolverine, on winning a Super Bowl champion with the 12th man. But let's get into tonight's episode as we break down the Super Bowl 60 recap. As I am not happy, but it is what it is. Here we are. Super Bowl Sunday, 29-13 was your final. The Seattle Seahawks were victorious over the New England Patriots. I know DJ Ice was on last week. Philip Cox, if you don't know, he was on last week. And one of his key points, the keys to the game, was how much Cooper Kupp, was going to be involved offensively with Christian Gonzalez, having to guard JSN most of the night. And damn it, he did what he was supposed to do in key moments of that game. 6 receptions, 61 yards. And JSN, Christian Gonzalez, whatever that man wants to get paid in New England, Robert Kraft, write the checkbook, because he saved us from he saved 14 points or not more from what Seattle was able to do with trying to get the ball downfield to JSN on deep balls. But he finished with 4 receptions, 27 yards. Ira, you know the game very well. You played at one of the highest levels, the highest, as they can say. But as a former running back, you have to be impressed from what you saw from Kenneth Walker, having over 100 yards rushing by the third quarter. But he did finish with 135 yards total on 27 carries. But let's talk about the game itself from your perspective. Give us your breakaway and your takeaway, I should say, from the dominance of the Seattle Seahawks offensively, and then Drake May not showing up when it mattered most to put points on the board, and then winning Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, well, first off, the running game was absolutely awesome. And they did it all, without their other running back. I don't want to.
Zach, thank God Zach was out. Thank God.
Yeah, right. It could have been even worse. But that being said, shout out to the running game. Always love to see guys who are leading with the run, especially in today's game, just to get back to that that foot soldier traffic. So we got to see a lot of that. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of my boy JSN, the offensive player of the year this year.
Who shut him down?
A Buckeye,
Okay.
but he didn't necessarily need to do too much today. He got to put his feet up, so it was all good. Still got the Super Bowl ring. So, with that being said, the Seahawks came out and they did what they were supposed to do. They came out. I actually think it was a good defensive showing on both sides initially. I don't think that the New England played poor defense. I just think that Seattle made the plays that they needed to make when they needed to make them. So, from that aspect, great defense isn't always the most fun to watch. But as just a fan of football, you'd love to see the tactics. You got to tip your hat to the game plan, both defensive game plans, especially that defensive back on the Patriots. He's stellar. So from that aspect, love to see the tactical preparation from both teams. I think they did a good job, at least on the defensive ball. I think your boy Drake May, they were calling him a game manager before this game, and I don't think he did anything to kind of quell that talk. He really just didn't come prepared, and from some aspects, you look at him like he's a young guy. Some people may say, hey, he's young, but, they said that about Dan Marino, and he never went back to the Super Bowl. So, you never know if things will ever happen again. So you got to take advantage of it when it happens.
Hey, listen, first off, Ira, let me just be politically correct. New England is bringing back 95% of its roster from this year, and that's including the top 5 defense that finished this year also. We do know that Drake May did the best he could. He got his right shoulder injected before the game. We know he had shoulder problems after the Denver game. Not putting that as an excuse per Bryant. But listen, if you're the New England Patriots, you got a lot to take away from. Drake May, second youngest quarterback to ever start in the Super Bowl, of course, behind Dan Marino. Drake May is 23. He's got probably another 10, 12, if not 13 years of football left in him if he can stay healthy. But, Bryant, let's get you over with because I'm just ready to get this out the system because I just know you're going to blow this out of proportion. But you looked at me when Drake May threw that pick 6 and Seattle scored, and you say game was over. New England's defense was able to hold Seattle offense to 12 points, 13 points, I should say, through 3 quarters. I'm proud of that from a defense perspective. But give me your takeaway on why you believe Seattle deserved and was victorious with the 29-13 win for Super Bowl 60, winning another Lombardi Trophy, the first one since 2013.
Seattle basically watched film and defensively dominated 4 quarters. It's just what it is. They kind of keyed in on those two players. I think it's the right tackle and the right guard. So that was their weakest link on offense, and basically they ran a double C gap blitz and just dominated and forced that turnover for a touchdown. It's just what it is. Those guys are young. I think you had 3 or 4 rookies over there, and they're going. The bad part is that everybody else is getting better too. So I think the Bears are getting better, my man. Don't worry about that. They'll be there. And the bad thing about it is that the AFC understands that they're so weak that they lost to a weak offensive line to a point where they're going to get better. And my prediction for next year is that Denver will be in the Super Bowl next year. Hands down. It's just what it is. They're a very, very good team, and they're young.
Yo, we haven't even been a week after the season's over. You're already making your next year predictions.
Yep. I damn sure will. Because, I understand the game. Ira knows that I understand the game.
I don't think he agrees with that.
Look, he don't have to agree. Everybody has an option and a choice, but yet Denver has got something because at the end of the day, let's keep it a buck. Let's really keep it. New England was not supposed to be there. They just wasn't supposed to be there. Denver's supposed to be in that Super Bowl championship game. It's just no question about it. If their quarterback is not hurt, it's Denver versus Seattle, and that would have been a good-ass game. Meanwhile, they put the wrong team in there. The weather affected the last game. You got the, unforeseen circumstances that happened. Whatever, and they went in there and they got their ass blown out. The score should have been like 50-13. They just really kicked their ass all game long. And it's just what it is. But a loss is a loss, no matter if you lose by 30, if you lose by 14, you're still going to lose. So that's just what it is.
Well, did the Bears make it to the Super Bowl?
Hey, 2006.
Oh, okay. What year is it?
It's 2026. But that's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I need to say, folks. Thank you.
Did y'all win?
Tonight's episode has been brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. We appreciate all our lovely guests who came out tonight. As you can see, Brian has not took his medicine, and he's already went off on a stupid rant. So we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, episode 52. Take care. Love all. What's wrong with this guy, Naya? You see what this guy? The Broncos going to be in a Super Bowl. The Bears,
the Bears. Wow.
It's listen, you pat your back for the Patriots. They've earned the right to be there regardless. Injuries are a part of the game. Ira knows that better than anybody as being a former player. Barry knows it from being in college athletics for over 25 plus years. Injuries are a part of the game. And as Naya knows from having 3 injuries in her collegiate career, it's next player up regardless of the situation. So rather it was Bo Nix or rather it was Jarrett Stidham, it doesn't matter who's the backup quarterback. Next man up mentality. Denver wasn't able to be successful. New England did kind of take a decrease in the playoffs from a scoring perspective, but that's what happens when you play against the top 4 defenses on your way to the Super Bowl. And look, Seattle Seahawks #1 defense. They've been #1 defense even before the season even ended, going into the playoffs. We know that the only team that pretty much had the best shot to beat them at full strength was the Los Angeles Rams. They were unsuccessful in the NFC Championship game. So at the end of the day, you credit your hat to the best defense in the league. And look, Sam Darnold's been getting covered for the entire year. I mean, that defense, I can go there behind center for Seattle's offense with JSN and make things look easy. I mean, no problem. I got Kenneth Walker. I got a 1,000-yard rusher in the backfield. Life is good, right? Of course. But next year, 7 months from now, I will not know who will be making the Super Bowl. I know one thing's for sure and 2 things for certain. It damn sure won't be the Chicago Bears because I'm sure Brian's looking forward to seeing what color will Caleb Williams' nails be for week 1 whenever the Bears schedule comes out. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
I don't give a shit if they pink. That shit could be pink, red, and white. I don't give a shit. Get your ass in there and let's go.
All right, well, we'll see. We know this upcoming next topic, we know that these 3 individuals are very familiar with this in terms of the landscape from when I'm sure Naya was playing, because I know now if Naya was playing, her bag would probably been triple. And I know Barry being in college athletics now with all the land of jersey patches and there's no, legislative laws in terms of NIL and the structure of it. And I know damn sure Ira playing today, he would have had at least a few mil in the bank because that guy was a beast back in his days in high school and then going into college. But we fast forward to NIL, Ira. I know that's something that you pretty much have been practicing and teaching to your younger athletes as well as your collegiate student athletes. And you've seen the collegiate game take a full 360 from your days playing in college football at a high level of Division I to where we are now, where there's pretty much no rules. NIL has took a college sport into a new level and also into a new stratosphere. They have what they call new profit share models, as I'm sure I'm getting ready to get educated on. Barry may know a little bit. But from your perspective, what does that mean for the quote unquote student athlete moving forward when we hear about profit share models?
Yeah, well, this was last June in the House versus NCAA settlement, where now schools are going to directly be paying the athletes. So that changes NIL, or it makes it what it essentially became. So when they talk about NIL, it's supposed to be name, image, likeness. So we're going to pay you to basically endorse a product. We're going to use your name, image, and likeness, and we're going to compensate you for doing that. That became, do you want to come to our school because we're going to offer you XYZ dollars? Now we have bidding wars going on. So essentially, it's just pay for play. So call it what it is. So now we are calling it what it is. and there's a revenue share model. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're talking about employees, are we not?
We are.
So outside of directly saying that these college kids are employees, now we're dealing with a revenue structure situation where we're going to have to pay them as employees. So there's tax implications, there's compliance implications, and then, on top of that, what do we do with the collectives? Because what NIL became is a collective of boosters that now pool their funds together, and that's how they essentially pay the players. But now that is changing, that changes what happens on that side, because a huge part of that was the nice big tax break that you get from participating in this thing. So now that rules are changing around that, you look at how those contributions are going to be made, because the collectives aren't going away. What they're doing now is they're just being more creative about how they're participating. Now with that, you have to worry about, from the student athlete perspective, what am I getting into? Because again, legislation is changing. Legislation has been changing the past couple of years. We're still not settled in exactly what NIL is. We know now it's technically not NIL. It's really just a pay-for-play system. But with that being said, okay, so now I can still technically get endorsement deals. But how does that affect my profit share? There's rules and guidelines around that if you're not paying attention, guys can get jammed up. We've seen over the years, retroactively guys become ineligible, and that, affects them. It affects the university, XYZ. So I think right now, moving forward, one of the biggest things that student athletes have to look at is representation. Another side of this whole NIL chapter, what is brought out, is everybody's an agent now. Mm-hmm. So you look at guys that, right, exactly, quote unquote agents, guys that claim that they're sports agents or claim that they asset managers that don't actually have the licensing. They aren't legit guys, and you can actually look up, people. There's broker check for, different, guys that are asset managers, and, you can actually look up, there's a database to see who's legit as far as who's a sports agent. But that being said, because the rules have been so lax, you have guys coming off of the street that are pretty much doing anything, and they're representing guys and they're signing them to predatory contracts where they're taking too much money out of what these people are making, and they're tying them into deals where they're going way over and beyond what they should be compensated as to the services they're providing. So that being said, on the education side, this is more than ever, it's important that the student athletes and their families understand, one, finance in general, but two, how does this profit share work? What are the rules around NIL? If you don't have an attorney, like a private attorney that's yours, you shouldn't be signing these contracts. So I think another thing that's coming up, especially now that everything's changing, is guys are educating themselves as to, how these things work before they start signing contracts, making sure they get the right representation, because the worst thing you can do is what guys have been doing with the old model is, hey, I'm assigned to an agent, I'm assigned to an agency, and they can take care of everything. Right. So you're running around blind, So yeah, overall, you mentioned my nonprofit. We're focused on educating everybody from middle school on up. So one, you should have a base financial education. So we're talking about the financial literacy stuff that they haven't been teaching in schools, which is slowly been changing because obviously people know that it's needed. I myself have been working with the city of Hoboken, Jersey City, with directly implementing curriculum into the public schools. So we're learning financial literacy from middle school on up, and obviously specializing with the student athletes in NIL education. I want these guys to understand what they're doing because they understand it, not just because I told it to them.
So Monty and Naya, Ira has a tremendous handle on the landscape. He's very well versed on these changes that have taken place. And I think when we go back, maybe, 15, 20 years ago, I think we all agreed that the athletes were generating so much money for the schools that somehow they needed to be paid. And we kept trying to figure out a way to do that. And then they finally opened up the NIL thing just a few years ago, but they didn't cap it. They didn't put any kind of a ceiling,
yeah,
guardrail on how much guys could make, and then now it's become a bidding war. I mean, we have free agency in collegiate sports now, where I did a couple of consulting projects for NJIT. Ira, I'm sure you're familiar with them over in Newark.
Absolutely.
We had a very good player, a very good basketball player who's first team all freshman in the America East Conference. Then he had another good year as a sophomore, and then he's gone. He's at Rutgers now. Obvious, the reason why is NJIT. Yeah, you got it, Ira. It's you got to go to the highest bidder, and you can't blame these kids, for trying to collect as much money as they can while they're playing college basketball. So there's a little bit of fault here on the part of the NCAA, and now they're trying to put bandages on it all over the place. And I don't think they have it solved, because the transfer portal in football and basketball is free agency. The kids can't wait to get into the transfer portal to see what their value is to somebody else, that they don't feel they're getting their quote money's worth at the school they're attending. So it's become the wild, wild west. And it's really, coaches, you see a lot of great coaches who've been around for a long time. They don't want to deal with it anymore. Nick Saban walked away at Alabama, and coaches who really used to love the game and had the passion for it and really helped a lot of kids. They don't want to deal with this anymore. They've made enough money, and now they want to do something else. But we haven't roped this in properly yet. This still has to be more legislation, more controls, so that the coaches don't have to worry about their phone ringing every night about a kid calling and saying, I'm leaving for them because they're paying me more
money.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, it's like part of it was the free market aspect of it. So, you talk about, rolling the clock back before guys were getting paid. And it's like these athletes are generating all of this money. So now you're able to take part in it. But again, what have we created now? Because what you're talking about culturally, the sport has gone so many different changes where, guys, parents, right, where they talk about or former athletes, especially why they love the game. Hey, the discipline that it taught me, the respect, working hard as a team to achieve something, resiliency, some of these lessons that guys take from sports. How are you learning them with the current landscape of the game? Whereas if it's not working out for me and I don't like it here, then I'm just going to go over here.
Are you playing for the coach that recruited you and you've admired growing up, or you're playing for the paycheck? Like I said, it's hard to blame these kids because many of them are not going to play in the pros. This is the opportunity right now for them to
much.
This is their pro career.
I mean, you look at it, I think just Alabama's last home game, Nate Oates, the head coach, pretty much put a player that we don't even know if he was eligible or ineligible. I mean, former, he already then he brought him over from the G League. He's at Alabama, and they put him on a court. And I'm just like, as the NCAA, I guess, in leadership perspective, how do you allow that to happen, right? And Barry, you've been able to be in the collegiate space for a long time and work different positions. So from what you've seen from your side of the fence, what will be some of the things that you would change if you had the power to do so with the landscape right now where we're at with the NIL?
I think we need legislation, and I don't know if it's from the government or from the NCAA, but the cat is out of the bag at this point, and it's the wild, wild west in terms of recruiting and paying. We need some legislation so that schools have literally a salary cap, if you will, or teams have a particular salary cap, because we can't have the biggest schools who have the most money buying all the best players. You remember, we'll never have the Cinderella team in the NCAA tournament.
No more.
Not anymore, because none of those teams seeded 12 through 16 are going to have any kind of talented players that's going to knock off a 3 through a 5 seed. It's not going to happen. So we lose that kind of magical feel for the NCAA basketball tournament, and I think in a very short time the college football playoff is just going to be between the Big Ten and the SEC, because they're going to take all the spots, because they're going to have all the best players, and it's going to be just a fight between those two. So I really think we need some serious legislation on the part of the NCAA to rope this thing in and get everybody on somewhat of a level playing field.
Naya, you have played at the highest level. I'm just going to say the highest level of collegiate basketball, playing for two historic women basketball programs with the University of Kentucky and the University of Georgia. We know the men's side is pretty much no holds bar in terms of unlimited funds, unlimited access to things. We know that. The football side of it, the deals, the sponsorships have just been more outrageous than ever. We know these things were private to an extent back then, but now it's more public, with players having partnerships with car dealerships, pretty much for them, their families, and the whole nine. But from the women's side of it, from your time playing to versus what you see now, do you see NIL from the women's game improving, and how so?
I feel like it depends on what school you're at. I feel like for women's sports, it's a little bit different than men's, because at the end of the day, like, just honestly, a lot of people watch men's sports, so they're making more of the money. When you're a women's athlete, depending on what sport, thankfully I played women's basketball, so there was a lot of attention on it at the time. But I think about like the smaller sports like tennis or swim and dive players, or like any other teams that just aren't revenue sports. It just scares me. And then for women's basketball specifically, I think about the high schoolers that are not getting a chance because of transfer portal and NIL, like how it's hurting them. And kind of like what Ira was saying about making sure people are educated. I feel like if you don't know what you don't know, you're going to be in a bad position coming into college regardless when it comes to NIL and transfer portal. So it is just really scary. I know my dad and I talk a lot about other programs and things like that, and like the money, how the revenue is being dispersed between programs, and it's up to the schools individually. So it's scary depending on what school you go to and if your school makes women's sports a priority or not when it comes to the logistics of how they spread this money.
So what advice for you playing Division I basketball would give to a high schooler in terms of, let's say that, she's down to her final 3 schools, let's just say one ACC, one SEC, and one Big Ten school. What advice would you give to her in terms of choosing the best fit for her, rather it's NIL or rather it's just a playing style of playing culture that university may have?
Yeah, playing style and culture, that's a big question. Obviously, it always has been when you're being recruited, but I think now it's so different because you literally have to sit there and ask these coaches like, hey, are you going to build me as a player? Or is it like if I don't produce in this one freshman year, like somebody else is going to come in and that's who you're going to give the money to? Like, it really is a frustrating ordeal, I guess, because you have to know what you're getting yourself into. It's no longer, like you said, being developed into a player over 4 years and putting your all into a team and learning its culture. It's not easy to develop culture now with NIL and transfer portal. So I think asking a coach just directly what it is and what it isn't. I also think that not being afraid to ask these players. I know in women's basketball and women's sports, women talk, like we're going to tell it all. So just being, I guess, fearless in terms of asking all the right questions. There isn't a question that's dumb or wrong, because at the end of the day, it's your money, your time, your hard-earned work, and things like that are on the line.
Hey, all right, let me ask you this. Do you think, and to some extent, that these universities or even, I guess, as from a coach's perspective, should at least have some type of contracts implemented for the players that's coming into the program? Because we know these days, as I always say, players never really have the opportunity to unpack their bags because they're here for a quick stint, maybe a quick 7-month stint, and then boom, they're already trying to find their next home. And that's even going during the season of having multiple communication with different schools and different assistant coaches. So do you see maybe down the line from the collegiate level, rather men's basketball, women's basketball, or football, that these coaches should implement contracts where if they don't hit these certain guidelines, one, should they be fined? Two, should NIL be impacted?
I do.
Yeah, I do see a benefit in that. I mean, we just saw Coach Prime a couple weeks ago
no games
about that.
No games.
But it also is a little iffy because, I mean, you see the situations in college football where some players are still transferring and just like neglecting those contracts that they've already had in place. So I'm not sure how much well or greatness it would do for women's basketball, but I do think at the end of the day, if you have it on paper and you have the right legal representation, then everything should be fine. But like Ira was saying, there's a lot of people who just, are kind of dirty out here that aren't looking out for your best interest as the athlete, and people just aren't educated to know if they are or aren't. So
gotta be careful of those bag handlers. Gotta be careful of those bag handlers.
I mean, I've seen it happen so many times, and then
do your research. Whoever approaches, like anybody watching this as a student athlete, as a parent, whoever approaches you want to represent you, anything to do with your kid, do your research. Find out who that person is.
Absolutely.
Anybody that's supposed to be legit, an agent, or they manage money, brokerage, all of this stuff is online and is public information. So look them up.
Brian, any last words before we get you out of here? Your take on this whole NIL madness?
No, it's the only way to basically fix this whole thing is that, and everyone is pretty much coming at the athlete as with legislation, but I'm going to disagree up to a certain point, because as a college coach, when I used to be, and trying to get back in, you have to legislate the coaches first, and because the coaches move like crackerjacks, and if they're moving all over the place, all over the country, year after year, assistant coaches, head coaches, whatever it may be, if you put the coaches in place for a couple of years, then you can put the players in place for a couple of years. Whatever happens with the players has got to happen with the coaches, because you got to limit the moving around. And if they don't do that with the coaches, then there's no way in hell that's going to happen with the players. So if you're going to do a legislation with the NCAA, they got to do it for all, because enough is enough. As a coach myself, I was a part of it, and I was moving, every year or every 2 years. I was at Morehouse, and I left from there after 5-6 months and went somewhere else. So it's like, these schools are going to have to start paying your assistant coaches, on basically all the levels that's opting to paying the NIL. They're going to have to put these coaches in 2-year contracts, and the head coach has got to put him inside of a 4 or 5-year contract, and he can't opt out until he fulfills 3 at the minimum. So now you got total control over everything, and it limits moving, and now you can go back to building dynasties, not just with the Big Ten, not just with the SEC, but all the other Power Fours as well. Now everybody can say, all right, this is my team, and I know that I have to stay here for another 2 or 3 years. And that's it.
Appreciate it, Brian. Any last words before you sign off? Say travel to Chicago, brother.
Hey, it was nice meeting everybody. I got about another 5 hours to get to Chicago. By the time I get there, everybody be in the bed. But I will talk to you guys later on.
Brian, always a pleasure. Appreciate you taking the time to come on despite being on the road. Go Patriots, screw the Bears, and I'll see you next week, maybe, because Naya might be in your seat next week, but I'm just saying. Just saying. But appreciate you, brother. Love you. Safe travels, man.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, baby. BG, Brian Garvin, co-host for now, as I plan to find his replacement for all his Patriots disrespect. I will not tolerate that ever on the rewind. But, Barry, let's talk to you for a minute, because you're getting ready to prepare for an HBCU All-Star game coming up in April, live from Indianapolis. Give us a little bit more background information and some things that you're looking forward to ahead of the HBCU game coming up in April.
Well, Monty, the preparation's already underway from our standpoint. We have a network of scouts throughout the country that are familiar with the HBCU basketball schools, and they are working hard right now to identify the best 24 players that we can invite and come to Indianapolis and have this great stage to play on. You know, so many of these kids don't get to play on in front of huge crowds or or get the great TV exposure. And this is something that we've done for the last few years. So we're involved in trying to lock in the sponsors to help pay for all the transportation and the hotels and the meals. And that's part of what I'm doing right now, is to generate the revenue so that, you know, we can have these kids with an incredible experience for 4 days in Indianapolis. And like I said, have a workout in front of NBA scouts. And we also take them out into the community and do some wonderful things. It's not just about the basketball. It's about, you know, taking a great step forward as an adult, leaving the collegiate world, heading into the real world. And we try to make as many introductions for them as we can. So we're heavily engaged right now in sponsorship driving and logistics. You know, we need food so that we can feed everybody when we get there. The restaurants have usually been very hospitable to us because they love being part of these events. But this is what we do from now until that weekend in Indianapolis, which is a great basketball town. So I'm sure they're going to support the game quite nicely. But it's a real celebration of, like I said, the best in Black college basketball. And hopefully, you know, some of these guys that end up playing in the game will get an offer to play, you know, at some level, either in Europe or here, you know, in the I don't even know what they call it these days, Ira. Is it still the G League? Is it still the G League?
It is the G League.
Okay. So maybe they get maybe, you know, somebody sees them in that game and offers them a contract. So for us, it's all about providing opportunity for these young men, and I'm excited about participating in it once again.
I don't think I have any. Ira, do you have any eligibility left? Do you have
you know, they didn't change the rules so many times over the last few years. I might have like one. I could probably petition.
I think I got maybe. I mean, I didn't play, so I think I'm fresh. I'm ready to come off the bench. Barry, whatever team. Hey, look, I'm ready. I can go out there right now and get you 10 points, 10 assists, few rebounds. Hey, look,
I'll give you a good quarter.
That's it. Hey, look, Naya. We can even get Naya to come in there. She can be the head coach. I don't know, whatever it takes to win. We just trying to make it work. But
we can make it happen.
Barry, I know
Naya's got a very good hoops pedigree, so I'm sure she fit right in. So yeah, for sure.
She knows all about perseverance and overcoming adversity. I know that's one thing she do know hand in hand. So I look forward to seeing the HBCU game coming this year, 5th year anniversary in Indianapolis. You can catch that Sunday, April 5th. You can follow their social media platform also at HBCU All-Star game, as Barry and his lovely team will prepare for this in April. And who knows, maybe me and Naya will be there present. You just never know. We'll see. Naya, we're doing something very different tonight. This will be the second time. Well, I'm not going to say second time. It's been done before, but however, this second time has been done the last few weeks. And it's due to Brian not being here tonight, me being having the executive control, a creative perspective, I should say, to do what the hell I want with this platform. I have been giving a blessing to you, I should say, and that's giving you Brian's segment. His segment is called Unfiltered, where he goes on. I can't even explain it. These unfiltered rants, but I'm sure this won't be a rant. But Chris, do we have that? Do we have that unfiltered segment ready in terms of I guess the whole breakdown of what we do for normally Coach Gard's hot take? If we don't, that's fine. But if we do, let's play it. If not, all good. I don't think we do. We might. He's a jack all trades. He probably has already ready. But if he doesn't, this will be Naya's going to be in the hot seat tonight for Coach Gard's Unfiltered, where she will be discussing her days of playing SEC basketball to now covering sports and being on the sidelines. If you didn't know, she played at the University of Kentucky and her grad at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. But from the basketball court to the broadcasting booth, Naya, give us some of your experience from you being an undergrad and how it's prepared you for now, and that's being a woman in sports and being an aspiring women's sports broadcaster, which you're currently doing now, getting your reps.
Yeah. I mean, it's been interesting. I knew from the day I was going to be recruited for basketball, I'm going to go for journalism. I want to do sports broadcast. It's been interesting because obviously with a hectic schedule, it's so hard to actually get reps and be on camera outside of just like what my assignments were. So I had to get really creative about how I was going to do that and make sure I reached my goals. But luckily I had a coach that was more caring about me as a person than a player. She knew that I wanted to pursue sports media, so she let me do that, whether it was internships, externships, or just putting me in front of people. Even when we would have shoot around or games, like I'm talking to the people who are coming in from ESPN, I'm talking to the producers from different schools at LSU, I'm talking to the people at SEC headquarters, so that I have people, in my backpack that can vouch for me and, present opportunities to me. I think what really helped me out was just going to an SEC school where sports is so powerful and strong. So I'm able to help out with men's basketball. I'm able to do internship with football. And it may not be something exactly what I want to do, but it's giving me other avenues and insight to things that I haven't been exposed to yet. One crazy story I always tell people, I don't know how many college coaches would allow an athlete to do this. I tore my ACL my junior year, and I had to go through rehab. My coach let me go to a Nike sports marketing internship in New York for the entire summer. And if you're in basketball, the summer is really where the foundation is laid. So shout out to Coach Elsie for that. But everything that I did in undergrad really prepared me for even grad school, coming here to Georgia and just another standard of journalism school or J school. I'm just so thankful and blessed that my coaches here as well, Coach Abe, know what I want to do and make sure that when I step away from basketball, there will be opportunities for me as long as I come through and, harbor those relationships when they connect me with those people. I always tell people when I stepped away from basketball, it was like a mutual decision, but my coaches made sure like, hey, this is what Naya wants to do. We're going to make sure that she gets in front of the producer and builds a reel while she's here so that she can go out and have other opportunities. And that's literally what it's been for me. I mean, that's how we met. So I've just been so blessed. I'm really excited. This is literally only like month 4 or 5 of me pursuing my sports media career, but I've done SEC basketball, I've done Big South volleyball and basketball, and then I have some other gigs that I'm looking forward to pursuing. So it's been a really fun transition, and I'm not going to say it's been easy because it hasn't, but I love putting in the work. I like challenging myself. So it's been a ride, and I'm really excited to just see where it takes off. Like super excited. Like I get really passionate about this when people are like, "Oh, tell me what you want to do." I'm like, guys, like don't get me started because I'll go on for 5 hours.
Hey, look, that's what it's all about. We just want to give a congratulations to you ahead of time because you are putting in the work and doing what you're supposed to do and doing everything. Yep. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Ma. You always, biggest cheerleader.
I'm your biggest cheerleader, your biggest advocate.
He really is, guys. Before we even met in person, like for real.
Hey, look, that energy, but you just know. Barry, we know you have to get going, but for the people out there that's watching this as well that will be watching tonight's episode, give them where they can find you on social media as well as tell the people, tell the world some things that you got coming down the pipe besides the HBCU All-Star game coming up in April.
Well, thank you, Monty, for having me on tonight. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, so there's always plenty of ways to find me. I will tell you that when these 2 consulting projects are done, I am optimistic that I'm going to be back on a college campus somewhere raising significant sponsorship dollars for somebody. So I appreciate the exposure tonight. It was great to be a part of this. I look forward, and I'm rooting for Naya for sure. Because she's got the goods, man, and this is someday we're all going to look back and say, remember when we had Naya on that podcast, and she's going to be like the NBA studio host.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Let's just hope that she remembers us.
I mean, we'll probably come elbows somewhere.
I just want tickets.
Hey, look. Look, Naya, look, we both on the same mission, trying to get to the same place. So whatever we can do to help each other win and support each other, I think that's what we're supposed to do as humans. It's all about alignment. And Ira, he's seen my work from afar, even during his coaching days at Eastside High School, and knowing that what it takes to win. So we appreciate you, Barry, coming out. We will definitely see you down the road. You're welcome anytime because you're rooting for the Patriots on Super Bowl 60. So I love you. And hopefully we can be able to chop some things up once you're done with your consultant piece to see where can we connect and align the dots. Always a pleasure.
Let's always look for those opportunities. Absolutely.
Thank you, Barry. Take care. We love you.
Okay.
Appreciate you,
brother.
Naya, I know. Shout out to Barry Neuberger, who is a member in my sports group on Facebook. He, alignment, right? It's all about alignment. Things happen when it's supposed to happen, and we were happy to get the date and the time right because he's a busy schedule, as you can see. So we're down to these two, my two favorite, Ira and of course Naya. But Naya, my last question to you: what's the transition look like for you from, of course, playing, going through the injuries, ACLs, and now being on the sidelines, trying to get reps, trying to build your career, your media career, build that reel up, build your reputation. What are some of the things that you've been able to do to help with your adjustment to where you are right now currently within your 6-month process of being a media personnel?
Yeah, I think a big part of my transition and my experience has kind of been just the community built around sports. So I'm in Athens still at UGA, but Atlanta is literally an hour and a half down the road. So just finding sports media groups and Black sports professionals or Autumn Johnson's television group, like there's just so many ways to succeed. So just making sure that I'm immersing myself in those rooms and communities and group chats and things of that sort. Like I said before, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. There are hard days, but I really kind of embrace that in a sense because I know that that's just how it starts. I'm like 45 minutes from Buford. That's where Andrea Carter is. And I know she's told the story so many times about her, like having to sleep in the car and just do so many things before her career took off. So it's just like, it's okay to start where I'm at right now and build because it's just going to make it that much worth it when I get to, bigger stages. And right now I'm putting in the work and doing the prep so that when I get to those stages, I am ready and I'm as prepared as possible. So it's been exciting. I have to shout out my parents because they've been more than supportive. Barry don't play about me. You saw in New York.
No, he does not. He attached to the hip at all times.
Yeah.
At all times.
I'll be at games, y'all. I'll be calling games at the booth, and my dad is behind me with the headphones on, listening to me talk and like giving me tips and things of that sort. So it's been so exciting, and just seeing like my coaches, my teammates all support me. So it's been great.
You deserve it. And look, speak it to existence, right? You're putting in the work. You're doing what you want to do. You're following your passion, following your dreams. And Ira can attest to that from his playing days. He knew what he wanted to do. He put in the work. He sacrificed his summers. You know what? It's funny you say sacrifice summers. Ira, do student athletes in today's era of playing, do they sacrifice the summers to get better? Or has that percentage like now dropped to like a top, I don't know, a top 5 or top 4?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think that everything has changed so much. So no, I guess to put it to make it simple, not to say that kids don't sacrifice, but it's a lot different, So I think the prices paid today are different type of prices than say of yesteryear. Say my generation, and for perspective, I turned 40 this year.
Wow.
So, that should tell you, I am on the timeline. But yeah, guys, my age, we didn't have social media. We didn't have a lot of these different technological advances that took a lot of our attention. So when it came down to, I'm not going to do anything for the summer, I'm just going to hit the weight room and hit the field and buckle down and work on my craft. It was like that, or be bored, sit in my room. I don't know, the same cartoons. We really just didn't have all those different distractions. So I don't think that guys put in the same level of sacrifice today across the board, because I still train a lot of these kids. They do work, but it's a different type of work. It's a lot more. It's very boutique-ish now. It's kind of like being a royal and preparing for war. So it's like, the royals, they have, the King's Guard to help prepare them and teach them how to fight. And they're, eating meals that have been, carefully curated at certain times and making sure they get the proper nutrition and the right amount of rest. Those are how a lot of the athletes do it now. It's a very comfort thing. Again, I've been a strength and conditioning coach for years. So, they'll hire me as a personal strength and conditioning coach, which is, again, I come from an era where we didn't have that. So, again, just to say that things are different now. So it's a lot more, there's a lot more comfort when it comes to sacrifices. Before you had to actively go seek a hill, now it's like, ooh, mom's paying your trainer.
Hey, look. Hey, look. Although I did not play at the highest level, the preparation, put into work, those things I do not forget in terms of running hills and vomiting in 99-degree weather on a summer day. Kids today probably will never ever understand, and I get it. Some people say this era of student athletes are soft and they don't want to earn these things. They want them given, but to each his own, as they say. And, we shall see what the future holds. But Ira's doing great things in his world, and Naya's doing great things in her world. So who knows, Naya? You might need some financial literacy or advisor. Ira's a guy to call, representation. I mean, look, I'm just saying, man, divine alignment. So We'll get into episode 51 edition of Rewind of the Week. And, we're getting ready to close this thing out. So I might be ninth segment.
Monty, I just want to say one thing,
Sure.
Because this thing comes up a lot, and it did the whole softness thing, right? A lot of guys want to call this era soft. Let me say something, and this is for the younger generation today. The older generation that came before me called my era soft. And the truth of the matter is,
that's true.
Compared to them, we were. I mean, these guys didn't have helmets and stuff. You know what I mean? If I was running around hitting you full speed, just knocking all my teeth out, look at some of these YouTube clips. Those guys were nuts.
Right.
Okay. They were harder than we were. All right. And the truth of the matter is, we did soften the game up again because we're nuts, right? You look at our guys walking around, CTE is a thing. We didn't know that was a thing.
That's true.
The way I was taught football was to ram my head into your head as hard as I can. And the helmets back then, it was like styrofoam with hard plastic, and you'd have a helmet print in your head. It'd be a little bit too low, kind of like that, mashed up. And you just, all day. And it's no wonder everybody's failing class, right? But anyway, that being said, we were harder and we were slower. So you guys should be smarter and a little softer, to preserve your lives and your brains and all that stuff. So don't take offense to it. You guys are playing a smarter game than we did. Just look at all the veterans now that can barely walk.
Absolutely. Naya's a 1%. He ain't lying. It's time for this week's edition of Rewind of the Week. Let's get into it, baby. On this very painful edition of Rewind of the Week, episode 51, I, again, publicly and globally have to say congratulations again to the Seattle Seahawks, who won their first Super Bowl since 2013. Sam Darnold is officially Trent Dilfer 2.0. Yes, he's been through hell. The Jets almost ruined his career. Fast forward, he goes to Carolina. He's a backup to Baker Mayfield. Fast forward, goes to San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan re-implements the confidence in him. When Brock Purdy goes down, he wins them a few games. Then goes to the Minnesota Vikings, where he takes it to a first-round playoffs, and they lose. Then fast forward, he's now with the Seattle Seahawks, who is now a Super Bowl champion after winning over 14 games this past year. So congratulations to them. But it's officially time to say goodbye to the 2025-2026 NFL season. It's been filled with highs and lows, and we know if your team didn't make the playoffs, there's always next year, and if your team didn't make the Super Bowl, shame on you. But look ahead of the Patriots' upcoming schedule for the 2026 season. Of course, we got the Bills twice, the Dolphins twice, the Jets twice, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Packers, the Vikings, the Steelers, Bryant's sorry-ass Bears. Can't wait for that one. The Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs, Chargers, Seahawks, and Jaguars. Now, I'm going to be honest. A lot of people say we had the easiest schedule last year. I disagree. But this right here is going to be one of the hardest schedules. But this schedule will prepare us to where we need to be in terms of where the grind and season that Seattle had to go through with their season schedule. So I feel like a good regular season schedule like this primes you and prepares you for that postseason run, because you look at this, Seahawks are getting better, Jaguars are improving, Chargers are improving. I'm not sure what the Chiefs look like. We know Patrick Mahomes won't be there. Detroit Lions have something to prove. The Bears have something to prove. I'm not sure what we're going to see from the Steelers with Mike McCarthy. Does Aaron Rodgers come back? I know he'll be at some black hole for the next 7 months figuring out if he wants to come back or not. Raiders got a new head coach in Clint Kubiak, who was one of the best offensive minds this year with the system and scheme he ran in Seattle. Denver's getting Bo Nix back. Jets, I just don't know. We'll see. I look forward to beating them twice next year. Dolphins and the Bills, who've been a scam for the entire year with Josh Allen, that quarterback. So we shall see. But Drake May, I love you. I appreciate it. Thank you for all you've done. And we'll see you in 7 months as the NFL draft is also right around the corner. Now we fast forward with what I'm getting ready to love to get into as we go on this rewind journey the next few weeks is the NCAA men's basketball. We know we sleep in March with the NCAA tournament coming up. We know the season has been really good, especially Kansas beating Arizona on Monday night. That was a game to see without their star player, Daryl Peterson. NCAA women's basketball. Naya, I'm going to have to bring you back. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have to bring you back for NCAA women's tournament coverage and even a bracket challenge before the tournament so we can break this thing down piece by piece. I haven't been sleeping on a women's game. I've been watching Texas. I've been watching LSU. I've been watching South Carolina. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Shout out to Coach Ivory. Okay. I love my girl. Right. Love Hannah. Let her Hannah. Look, TCU, they're good. And oh my God, shout out to oh my God, Mrs. Blakes from Vanderbilt. Oh yeah. My goodness. Yeah. Jersey's finest. Bless you. Her brother Duke went to Duke from New Jersey. Went to Blair Academy. Now at Stanford. Look, listen, man. Blake's oh my God. Yeah,
she's a monster.
She is a monster. Goodness gracious. Unrivaled. We want to give a special shout out to our girl Ice, our fam girl Ice, who's doing color commentary duties tonight for the Unrivaled game on TNT that started at 7 p.m. Eastern time and NHL. So I can talk about how suckish my Chicago Blackhawks are and how trash our producer Chris and his Toronto Maple Leafs are, because after last year, I thought they would be pretty much better, if not in the same place they were this time as they were last year. Wrong. They suck. So we got a lot of things to look forward to here on the Rewind. And it's been a good episode. I'm appreciative of everyone that's came on, but let's go around the room and get our final closing remarks and thoughts. Ira, I'll start with you. For the people out there I'll be watching tonight, give them where they can find you on social media platforms, as well as some of the things you have going on right now in the year of 2026.
So Guilford for JC, if you want to look that up. That's my Instagram handle. You find me on Google. My name's Ira Guilford. So again, if you Google that, it'll give you links to my LinkedIn, also my website where I do the financial literacy. We have information coming for Ball Street University. So this year is our official launch, Ball Street University, where we're doing financial literacy for middle school through college kids, specializing in NIL education for student athletes. So definitely look out for that. Anything NIL related, anything around financial literacy, asset management, you can look me up. Again, it's Ira Guilford. I work at Forest Hills Financial Group, Ball Street University. That's a nonprofit. Again, we do our financial literacy. And, also Monty mentioned I just ran for city council for Jersey City. So I am a civic employee. I am on the Youth and Education Committee for Jersey City. And there are also some other things going on in the city. So, there's a lot that we're actually putting together now. So all the appointments haven't been made official yet, but, actively on the ground level, especially working on the youth and education side. So, that's a little bit about me. It's been great being here. Thanks, Monty. Monty and I've known each other for, like you said, 6-7 years.
Probably something like that. Probably about over 7 years. I've been able to been supportive of each other, and I just want to say how proud I am and congratulations for doing things that are unnormed to people that are in your walks of life, right? It's not easy to go from playing collegiate level at a high level, transition your life as a football coach, and transition your life now being a civil service worker for Jersey City and being involved in politics. So I commend you and applaud you on that. I mean, 10,000 votes. I mean, shit. I wish I can get 10,000 subscribers for our YouTube channel, but easier said than done, as they say. But you've earned it, and I know you have great things coming down the future. But whatever I can do to help elevate you and push you to where you're trying to go, no problem. And you know what? Speaking of which, Ira gave me a really interesting point. We had an opportunity to see each other, I believe, before Christmas for a party where we were supporting Dr. Mike, who was also on earlier in the year 2025. He had his Christmas party, holiday Christmas party. And Ira was saying, man, like how important networking is in spaces that you want to get into or see yourself being in terms of, rather it's Naya being a sports broadcaster or being in media, myself being a sports broadcaster, being in media, Ira being in politics as his politic career continues to grow and grow. He said, sometimes you have to pay to get in these places. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, yo, like these places where you have, this particular, figure or that particular figure, rather whatever walks life is, and they have a gala or fundraiser event, and the tickets is $100, $200, whatever. He said, yo, pay that, because once you're in, that is a room full of networking that could potentially change your life. And when he put that into perspective, I was like, damn, he's right. Damn. That's just free game, man. I appreciate that. He didn't have to do that.
I'll add a little more to that. Yeah, especially once you get in these places, right? It's like now I just ran and my political profile has grown. So now I actually have a budget. Like I have a 2025 budget, and I'm going to have a yearly budget every year from now on for galas and events. Because once you're on, everybody has something. Because here's the thing. Think about it, Monty. As you grow your brand, you're going to be raising money, are you not?
That is the plan.
All right, so I'm expecting a phone call because you got something going on and you want me to buy a ticket to come to your dinner because you're raising money.
That is true. You said that.
And then I'm going to go, and then I'm going to also send you an invitation to my dinner to come.
I will pay to get in. Yes.
So that's the game. That's how it goes.
Appreciate it. Naya, you do know how much I am proud of you, how much I appreciate you being a Black queen. I'm going to start off with that, being someone who I admire from afar in terms of having the opportunity to meet with you, connect with you in person, seeing your work ethic from behind the scenes, your preparation behind the scenes, and then obviously your work that's on display now. I am grateful that the good Lord has aligned us. Shout out to Ice for making that happen, of course.
Oh, for real. Shout out to Ice.
But I'm just so appreciative of you. One, making the time to come on. Two, knowing what you want to do and having the drive and passion to do it and just not taking no for an answer. I think right now, from seeing your work, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You are exactly where you need to be, I should say. And I know that with God's grace, you're on to great things. And I am blessed to know you and to have a relationship with you. So I'm happy when I sent you the text and say, let's figure this thing out. You were transparent to work this thing out. And I just want to say, let's celebrate you as you continue to grow and rise in the media world. And I'm your biggest cheerleader, your biggest advocate, me, whatever I can do to help. And I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you for coming on tonight's episode, as you'll be back. Many more to come. And I need you to put a bat signal out to your woman in sports.
Yeah.
This goal. Actually, this is on my list when we first launched last year, but on my list for this year. All right, that goes for you as well. I've been speaking this to all my guests through 51 episodes. If you know anyone, women in sports, I am looking for a female co-host. You don't have to contribute weekly. You can contribute bi-weekly, 2 episodes a month. I don't care. I want a woman's voice and perspective and opinion on this platform. So I'm putting it out from my mouth to God's ears to y'all world.
Yeah.
I would love to make it happen. But Naya, for the people out there, give us where they can find you on your social media platform, as well as some of the things that you have cooking right now in the year 2026.
Yeah, so biggest thing first, our podcast, What Now the podcast on Instagram, and then What Now the podcast on YouTube and Spotify, just talking about the transition of being a collegiate athlete and then going into the real world, whether it's a career in sports or anything else. Literally, if you're an athlete, dreamer, young adult, focused on something else, just the next steps in the pivot. So if you're interested in just talking about, pop culture, social things, athletics, anything of that realm, you can find us there. And then my personal Instagram, I post a lot of like days in the life, vlogs, just all the things that I'm doing in terms of sideline, broadcast, color. You can find me at Naya.Lev. That's 2 H's and 2 V's, NYAHH.LEVV. And yeah, I'm so thankful to be here. Monty, you've been so helpful since day one, since really before day one, before we got to New York, you were there. So I'm really appreciative of any platforms and opportunities that you put me in front of. So that means a lot to me, because I don't know, in college, they always say like your friends and people around you doing the same things become your colleagues for real. So that's real. I see that happening day in and day out. So I appreciate you for this.
I appreciate you, Black Queen. We're both trying to get to the same destination, so why not help each other get there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you. If I also, before we end tonight's episode, I just want to give a special shout out to, of course, Aaron Jackson, who has become the first Black. I just found this out today. The first Black woman to win an individual Winter Olympic gold medal, representing Team USA, of course, for the Winter Olympics. So shout out to her. Also want to give
Literally.
You know we don't do cold weather. That's what's up.
Hey, look, we don't. Us Black folks like the cold, baby. Oh no! And I would trade Jersey weather for whatever the weather is in Athens, Georgia, right now. I tell you that. Anywhere.
It just snowed here like 2 weeks ago. So shoot.
You weren't here this weekend. We'll trade that.
Yeah, you weren't here. Yeah, you went. Me and Ira, we're probably about like 20 minutes apart from each other. It is cold. We do not like the cold. So.
Yeah,
I just thawed out today.
You won't see me in those parts.
I just got out the oven today. I'm finally I was shivering for the last few days, man. It's been brutal. Oh my God. Also, shout out to Maria Taylor for making history for Super Bowl Sunday, becoming the first Black woman to host a Super Bowl post-game show in the NFL since 1992. She's the first woman to do it since Lindsey Vesser, who did it in 1992. So we want to congratulate UGA alum.
I'm about to say, go Dogs. And
go Dogs.
Yes.
Go Dogs. So shout out to them, and shout out to pretty much the love and support that we have. Support Naya's podcast, who I will post on my socials for everyone to watch. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at 3-1_GSC3, as well as follow us on all of our social media platforms at 3-1_GSC3. Episode 51's in the book. Same place, same week, or different week, same destination, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Episode 52. We'll see you guys next week. To our guests, to Brian joining us from the road, Chicago, safe travels. To our brother, Barry Neuberger, who's getting ready for HBCU All-Star game. To Ira, to Naya. Monty Moss signing off. Episode 51. We'll see you guys next week. And as I always say before every episode, man, this is painful. Go Seahawks. Congratulations.
Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me,